feel like clay has this quiet ability to absorb my energy. And so what happens when I'm making is my brain shuts off. And I'm no longer thinking, I'm no longer trying to articulate or rationalize anything. I'm not even conscious of whether or not it's about me or if it's a reflection of someone in my life, our dynamic, our relationship, how that felt to me. So it's like each body of work is like a cycle for me. Hi, my name is Isabel Wynn. I am an abstract ceramic sculptor here in Vancouver, BC. I work large scale. I work with a really beautiful stoneware. It's incredibly durable. My practice explores abstract form, texture, movement, you know, the relationship with the body and the clay. It was almost like this childlike pull to making like little mud pies in like my backyard. And I was like, how cool is it that this like malleable natural material like I could find anywhere, kind of like treasure. It's like little treasure in nature. And yeah, and just started playing with it, like this incredibly tactile, fun thing. And then as I progressed and like I started studying ceramics and clay, I became obsessed with like the alchemy of it, the science behind it, the transformation, and almost this like power I felt in this exchange between me and the material. That is what got me hooked. A few years ago, I was obsessed with size. So I was learning how to throw and scale up, and then one of them had collapsed, so it was like a complete fluke. And I was staring at it and I was thinking to myself, how honest is that? Like how beautiful. And I just became obsessed with like learning how to replicate that. Like how can I make this intentional? But that spontaneity is also giving it this energy and this freshness. And so there's this like idea of how this collapse almost like encapsulates this energy forever. Like it doesn't ever like die. To me, it's like a dance. The way that my body moves with the piece. And I'm making with music on, and it feels like a dance, like the way that my body now just like moves without me even thinking. And this kind of mirrors that, you know, like just the dance between my hands and then the rest of my body like pushing and forcing the clay up. In the part where I start to then collapse the pieces, it feels like I'm honoring that dance. I'm really interested in that autonomous relationship from the vessel to me, especially because these are self-portraits. So monochrome happened when I was not in a good place. Life felt like devoid of color, like there was no color in me at the time, and it was it was 2 years of feeling like that. And I think there was this acute phase where I was desperate and I couldn't make anything. Like the actual vessels that are in the show, I had made a year before I glazed them. And so I just said to myself, this is a non-negotiable. You need to glaze these. You need to figure out what this is trying to tell you. Because the form was created during feeling like this, even though it was a year later when I completed them. And black and white, first it was black. So there was a lot of like deep blues and blacks that I was working with. And it kind of simplified the process because I couldn't really do anything. Like if you've ever gone through burnout, like you just don't have any energy and you can't think. And then I started getting really attracted to white as I had been working in black for so long. And then in my mind, it was like the two extremes. I was like, I refuse to live in this grayness anymore, or this blackness. And so then I started eventually progressing into like black or white. Like life was black or white. Like I was having high highs and low lows in this like healing process. Like, and I felt like I was kind of feeding off of my environment, you know, the environment within me, and then, you know, exterior forces and people and relationships. And so through that, I was just kind of, there's so much beauty. And as soon as I kind of removed myself, which is also a really beautiful part of this practice, that therapeutic element of removing myself from it, like, but that black and white was like, the black was almost like the undercurrent of the darkness that I felt. And the white was like, maybe even like the peace that I was feeling in finally making art again and coming back to self. So that Monochrome series was like extremely, it was almost like a self-indulgent, like, let's bleed onto this, like this black and white and this darkness. Like I was like, let's fully indulge in all this.